welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon, and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I have a special guest with me today. Some of you know my daughter, Paris. For those of you that don't, I have a 21-year-old daughter, Paris. She's been on the channel several times, and welcome back to the channel.
Hi, everybody.
So we always say that Paris has her PhD and NPD, right? She's our child expert on all things related to growing up with a narcissistic parent. So if you have questions, Paris is your girl, your woman.
Yes, I will give you the truth.
Yes, exactly. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it may be.
Yes, I really want to be able to, if you have kids who are growing up in the similar situation I did, I want to give you encouragement that they can be okay too.
Thank you for saying that. That's actually good for me to hear as well. It's a horrible situation. I know, unfortunately, many of you can relate to that. Paris, let's start off this video. We're going to talk a little bit today in the video about the tragedy of absent fathers. But to start the video, I want to give you guys, or let Paris give you a little bit of a synopsis of what's going on in your life right now, because there's something exciting but stressful.
Yes, I am at the stage in the process I'm dealing with where I am anxious and excited and nervous and refreshing my inbox and checking the mailbox, though sadly, we don't get college acceptance letters in the mail anymore. So that's just depressing. I'm not going to get it there, but I'm looking for a college acceptance letter.
I was telling Paris that when I was younger, it used to be you'd get this letter in the mail, and if it was a thick envelope, you knew this is probably going to be good news because it would have more information, or if it was a thin envelope, or if you get, Paris is already laughing. All right, you guys. When I was in high school, I applied to this college solely because somebody that I like went to this school. And this is somebody I didn't even know was a celebrity, all right? So I applied to this college and I got rejected by a postcard in the mail. I didn't even get that flat envelope. It was a postcard. So at least it won't be that bad for you.
Oh, that's true. It won't be that bad. But let me give you a little context here. I am at a community college right now. I'm transferring to a four-year in the fall. And I have gotten into this college, but it's kind of confusing the way it connects. Even I've been involved in this program for over a year now, and still sometimes I need to go over the details in my head. But essentially, there's a sub-branch of the college for honor students, and my community college and this college have a deal worked out where they have some full-ride scholarships being offered. So I applied for one of them. It has been a process to apply. I went to a 4-week seminar over the summer with the program. I've done a ton of events. I've done tons of interviews. I've gotten reference letters. I've filled out an application. I wrote an essay. And I finished my last interview on Valentine's Day, actually. It was an easy day for me to remember when it happened. And I am now waiting. I could hear any time.
It's so exciting. I'm so excited for you. I know you're going to get this. I don't want to say that and then have not that I believe in jinxing, but I don't want to taint anything, but I think you're going to get it. I think it's going to be fantastic. Do you want to talk about the issue that we're concerned about?
Yes, I do unfortunately have an enemy within the program. We've entered enemy territory. There is another girl named Paris.
Another Paris.
Yes, that's the off-brand Paris. No, she's actually, disclaimer, she's actually really nice. I have no problems with her, but she's causing me problems. So, to clarify, for the program, there's 40 students in the program. 35 are in this, I guess, a special main part of the program. It's made mainly for these students, but 5 have reserved spots for students outside of their main program. That's me. I got in one of 5 spots, right? So did the other Paris. So we really are the vast majority. It's like, what is it? Doing numbers in my head, 40% of the program is me and her. That's our odds. So I had this interview last week, and the woman I'm interviewing with starts it. She asked me, "Oh, how are all your animals doing? You must have a lot of tanks in your house for your amphibians." Now, I breed snakes, so I wasn't going to embarrass her. I just went with it. I didn't correct her on reptiles. I just said, "Oh, they're doing great, you know?" Later, she compliments me. She tells me I did a great job with the presentation over the summer. And she had been to my presentation, and I thought she hated it. So I was like, wow, this is going great. This is great news for me, guys. Let's go. So then she's introducing me to the dean. And she introduces me by saying, "Remember the girl who did the presentation with axolotls?" I did a presentation on accounting fraud. I don't even own an axolotl. She's talking about the other Paris who happens to breed axolotls.
The odds of that. And so now it's, all right, well, what happens if only one of them get in? Is there, I mean, I actually think it'll be fine. This is a professional environment, but it's just that stress that, oh no, what if only one of them get in? What if they think it's you or she's, whatever it is, the mix up?
Yes, no, exactly. It is stressful. And they actually have mixed us up on other opportunities before. Over the summer, I got to sign papers that were hers, and they got confused, they sorted it out, and it was fine. And I will say too, when I corrected, so it took me the entire interview to realize she was interviewing the wrong person. Essentially, she realized, wait a minute, she's majoring in biology, you're majoring in the mathematics business field, so we are in very different fields. It's really the only differentiation between us, but she does know that, so that's good news.
Yeah, that is good. And so at least now when she's going over everything, she'll have it separated. But yes. I was tense about that too when you first told me.
I started actually signing emails with my last initial over the summer. I've never been required to do that because it's always, I'm the only Paris, but not anymore.
Yeah, those Parises are creeping up, and it's all your age. You guys know the Paris story.
I'm familiar with this. I actually told them this too when they were confused about how there are two Parises. So, I am named after the capital of France. I am named after Paris, France. That is the correct Paris, in our opinion. However, there is a singer named Paris Hilton who was popular around the time when she was pregnant with me.
You guys, picture it. It's 2003. All right. I discover I'm pregnant. It's January. I am so excited, and I come up with my girl name, Paris Joy. That was going to be the name. Yes, and I knew it was going to be unique and it was going to be great. April of this year. So I already had my name. So April of 2003, Paris Hilton suddenly becomes famous, and now other people stole my name.
Thievery.
Yes, there's Paris thievery.
So she really is the off-brand Paris. She actually genuinely is. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, you are the original. You're the OG. You're the OG.
Exactly. Step aside.
Although I have to say now, my son, he does not want me to say his name, so I won't say it, but he also has an unusual name, and so far, so good with us not finding out that a bunch of other people have the name.
But the issue is nobody can pronounce his name. So he does have that downside.
Yeah, and you know what, you guys, and the mispronunciation, it makes it, it's not.
The mispronunciation literally doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, like, see, that's the thing, because I know the name, so it's hard.
I'm not going to say it, but it would be like if you have like a TH in your name and you're pronouncing it hutta instead of th. Like, it's like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, you're just like mixing up letters.
Yeah, so yes, that is true. So anyway, so hopefully all will go well. I think that it will. We'll keep you guys updated. But in the meantime, Paris, do you want to talk about the disaster that has befallen families in, I was going to say the world, but for sure in America?
Yes, I mean, it's really the falling apart of the nuclear family. People have said that for years. I can remember hearing that back when I was in middle school. Didn't really know what it meant, so I think of like, like a nuclear weapon, and I'm like, what the heck does that mean? But like, growing up, I see it more and more, and a lot, like most of the people I know in Ohio don't have fathers.
It's so, I know this probably seems obvious to most people. It's very difficult to be a single mother, and I'm sure a single dad too. If you're a single parent, just say, it's very difficult. And for me, one of the hardest things that I think I deal with is feeling like I'm spreading myself. Not that I'm spreading myself, but I'm spread too thin, that I just cannot do everything that I want to do. I want to do everything. I feel like I'm trying to do 5 jobs at once, and I'm not doing any of them good, and it's extremely stressful. And there are so many times where I would love the luxury, and this is the thing, it shouldn't be a luxury, but I would love the luxury of being able to be like, all right, you know what, can you do this? Or can you handle this? Like saying it to the father of my children. Or, if something happens, I have somebody else that is going to care the way that I do. And I want you and your brother to have the best possible life. And I feel I can't give that to you when there's a lot of guilt involved in it beyond what we even need to talk about for the video or just for us to talk about. But that's how it is for my perspective. But you have a different view on that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience? Because it's been different in New Hampshire and here.
Yes, so growing up in New Hampshire, I was really the only one in my friend group who didn't have a dad in my life. There was a couple, there was always like one or two, but it was really everybody had dads, and they had good relationships with their dads too. I had some of my closest friends talking about like how they love hanging out with their dad, and like they're the stereotypical daddy's girl. They're spoiled, he's threatening their boyfriends, making sure they're safe, protecting them. I never had that, and I used to want that. I did used to get sad that I didn't have a relationship really with my dad, because he officially was, I think your relationship ended when I was 16. So I haven't seen him since then. Made the decision I didn't want a relationship with him. So I've come to the point where I no longer really yearn for that, because I don't mourn him. If that makes any sense. So I will say, like, if you're growing up in if your children have just their dad's not involved, whatever the reason for it is, it's not necessarily going to doom them. They're going to be okay. They're going to not get over it, but they'll be okay. And I know for me personally, it no longer bothers me. With that being said, I actually find it disgusting that people don't have fathers. It was actually with the program I was talking about over Christmas, and this is when it really came to light. We had the opportunity to speak over dinner, talking about Christmas or just winter holiday traditions. And it was person after person after person. So after my dad left, I was raised by a single mom. My dad caused this problem. My dad, like, I'm telling you, at least 6 or 7 people didn't have dads. It got to the point where it's like, oh, another one? You're fatherless too? And I think that's disgusting.
I think it's absolutely horrible. It was just, when you said earlier in the video about the nuclear family, right? How the nuclear family's falling apart. And I get it. Like, I'm not trying to say every family is the way that we are talking about, but by and large, that's what America was built on. You know what I mean? And I feel for those that want it, right? Like, if you want to have a family, if you're like me, and I'm sure probably a lot of you are, I know Paris is like this, you want to get married and you want to have babies and you want to raise your kids and have a life. And that's what a lot of people want. That's what I wanted. And I know you want that. And I know Joe wanted that. And so many of us. And it's such a tragedy it's not even that you're let down, but just what it does to the families. It's so sad. And I feel the way that you do. It's just the patheticness of it. I mean, then of course you have other things. You know what, let me just backtrack for a second. I think there are some of the truest words you could ever hear is to be so careful who you marry. Be so careful. There is very few decisions in your life that would have the impact of the person that you marry for your life. But in our whole society, it's almost, I don't want to say celebrated, but it doesn't seem to be, not a lot of people are talking about the disaster of it the way that we are right now. It just seems accepted. Like, of course.
It's a part of it. It is. And like, stuff happens. People pass away. Marriages don't work out for whatever the reason it be. It would. But like, when statistically speaking, that's not okay.
When it's literally everybody that we know. And then we can see, and this is just spread over a wide range of people. When we compare it to how, the difference it can be when you have a nice family and when you have that love. I can remember one time specifically picking you up at church, and I saw, I don't want to say who it is, your friend whose name begins with an R. She was leaving church with her father. He had picked her up. And I can remember it was a snowy day, and I was watching them while I was waiting for you. And they were throwing snowballs at each other, running around the car, goofing around. I was so in awe of that, because I also didn't have that. And then I desperately, when I married your father, one of the things, I did take consideration into what life it would be for the future kids that I wanted to have. And I thought we can have 2 sets of grandparents that are married. You have a family that loves you. And it's so sad when things like that don't happen. I don't want to make this all like a downer video. I mean, it happens and we move forward, but it is really a tragedy in our society today. And then so many of us are just left out in the cold.
And yeah, you're left alone. But it is ultimately abandonment.
Yeah.
That's like, I see somebody drowning in the lake and I decide I just walk away and I leave them there. That's essentially what a lot of these fathers are doing. And yeah, it's not all of them. And there's also people who are single dads and the mother left or the mother walked out and abandoned them too. Because it comes down to it is you're abandoning your kids. You chose to get married, and I believe marriage should be for life in the ideal situation. So it's really sad to think that people are walking out on that, and then these kids are growing up without fathers or without mothers.
I'll tell you something. I think this on a regular basis. I cannot believe when I think about my ex. Literally, I can't just having this family, and then just being okay without it. Like it's okay. Like,
It is.
It's okay. I can live with, like, when I think about if something happened to you, the will to survive would I don't even know how I would go on. I don't want to sound so pathetic, but it would be so difficult. But then to purposely choose that, it's shocking to me. I can't believe it. And then to know family after family after family after family, it's such a tragedy in our world.
It is. I know. It's like it's becoming more and more known. It's accepted. It's like you said earlier. It's in some ways it's a good thing.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're having like a problem in your marriage. All right, get a divorce and split the kids 50-50.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah,
Exactly. It just, you know what, that's fine. You know what I mean? Whatever, there's all no fault divorce and there's just go away and it's fine. Everyone would be 50-50. It doesn't matter what happened. Yeah, it's horrible. So thank you for coming on to talk about this a little bit. Just, and not to make this a huge down video, but maybe we can talk about this again. Just some of the experiences being raised by a single mother, and just, I don't want to say the unfairness, because I never want this to be, oh, poor us. I don't ever mean that. But just, there's a reality that it ruins society.
It does. It does. And I want to say quickly, too, like, I had a father in the house for 16 years, and he was just another body. So I never really considered myself having a father. So I just want to say, too, we're talking about, like, fathers abandoning their family. In some ways, it's almost like good riddance. If you're going to just be there as a figure, not contributing, you might as well go.
That is true. You know what? I agree with you. So thank you, Paris, for coming on, and maybe you can come on again and give us the good news.
Yes, let you know. Did both Parises get into the program?
Yes. That's what I told Paris. I was like, they both need to get in.
Yeah, we both need to get in, and then we'll be mixed up for the next 2 years.
Yes, and then it'll be okay once you're in. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, I will let you get back to work, because I know you have schoolwork, and I will talk to you guys next week. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, and God bless.
Bye, guys.